Jarvis, you there?
At your service, sir.
Gauge heads-up display.
Check.
Four-door preferences from home interface.
Will do, sir.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Solo TV 84. I'm your gracious host, Solomon Jones, and Gamestop is in the news today. Heavy. The short squeeze. Now, a lot of people know I'm not no stock expert. I've never claimed to be. This is not financial advice. But you know what? When GameStop is making so much news in the market, right? It forces somebody like myself to pay attention. Why? Because if you're in the crypto market, there's kind of some, I don't want to say it's synonymous with the stock market, but it does force you to pay attention. Now, I'm not an expert, so I'm going to let the experts talk about it. And then, you know, we'll just take it from there and see what's really going on. Now, if you guys are stock experts, let me know. Because once again, this is like out of my realm. So I'm just here doing research. This is for research purposes. Let's go.
Trying to help you make some money. My job is not just to entertain, but to educate and put in context. So call me at 1-800-743-CBC or tweet me at Jim Cramer. Will our botched vaccine rollout end up shutting down the economy? Well, the crazy action and short squeezes like GameStop cause the stock market to collapse under its own weight. Does it even make sense to fret about this stuff with a slew of major earnings reports on the way starting tomorrow? After a day where the market was torn in two different directions, Dow declining 37 points, S&P advancing 0.36%, and the Nasdaq gaining 0.69%, we need to talk about what I think of as the vaccination GameStop dichotomy. This weekend, we were treated to story after story about how President Biden's pledge to jab 100 million people in 100 days could be impossible to carry out. Even if we work out the logistics problems, there may not be enough vaccines to go around. Meanwhile, we keep hearing about these new COVID strains.
And you know what? I'll be honest. When you hear stuff like short squeeze and, you know, shorting, to a regular person like me, I'm like, you know, obviously that's market lingo, right? I don't know. So anybody in the chat, can you tell me what is a short squeeze in like the simplest definition? You know what I mean? And I mean, yeah, I saw the movie The Big Short and it didn't make sense to me. I probably should have did my research, but this is for research purposes. So let's keep going.
To potentially beat the vaccine, making the whole exercise pointless. We already know the economy is weakening. While new infections have begun to pull back from their highs, although we're still seeing many days with well over 200,000 cases, the psychological impact is causing people to stay home, resulting in kind of a voluntary shutdown. But it's not like the economy's in ruins. For the 93% of the workforce that's still gainfully employed, they've got nothing to spend their paychecks on, so they either invest or pay down debt. The service economy may be in horrible shape, but unless you work in travel, leisure, dining, or sports, especially if your company is private and small, you may be doing just fine. Meanwhile, ultra-low interest rates make it easy to buy a new house or a car, something Americans are doing in droves as they leave the cities for the suburbs or even the country. I talked to the home builders, and they say this may be the best.
Shout out to Ben the Knee. Ben the Knee says, Solo TV 84, these billionaires are complaining about losing in their bet and they want a refund bailout. I guess they do believe in socialism. Yeah, you know, I find that very interesting. And shout out to the Modern Investor, because I watch him every morning. Like, he's the first YouTuber I watch nowadays, right? And, you know, and I found out, you know, with the Reddit, they got into it. And here's the thing. I find it very interesting that they delisted GameStop, and now they're trying to do the same with AMC and others. And what is happening is that these, you know, the institutions, when they say retailers, right, they're talking about you and me, bend the knee. They're talking about the everyday person. They're talking about poor people because they don't think that people know what's going on. And when people unite, this is what happens. People are tired of these companies, you know, becoming filthy rich. I mean, look at all these companies that have become filthy rich during this pandemic. You know what I mean? And so when you look at this, as soon as the tide is on the other side, where now the retailers, as they like to call them, or the everyday person like you and I are winning, now all of a sudden they want to cry to the refs on some LeBron James shit. Now all of a sudden the rules have to be changed. But why? Didn't you guys make the rules? And now that the everyday person is trying to win, you got people who all of a sudden they became millionaires overnight because of this whole GameStop situation. Now you're crying and now you want to change the rules when you guys are the ones who made the rules? Okay.
Housing market they've ever seen because people are desperate for homes with workspace and school space where they can be safe from COVID. You can't put a price on safety, people. And that's why home builders are selling lots so quickly. That's why they keep blowing numbers away. The wholesale exodus from cities has fueled a gigantic number of upside surprises. The new hybrid remote work style has been an enormous boon to the service industry.
And by the way, shout out to the brothers here in the chat educating me. Like I said, the stock market is not my forte. I'm a beginner. You know, obviously, I spend more time doing crypto. But there is, like I said, there is some synergy that sometimes occurs because I wake up and Dogecoin is up like crazy. And by the way, shout out to Ike. I actually messaged Ike. I'm like, Ike, salute to you because Ike had mentioned he got some Doge. And I'm like, but now a few months later, I know Ike is laughing at me. He's like, yeah, Dogecoin, baby. And I'm salty as hell right now, bro. Because I've known about Dogecoin for years. I'm hella salty. Dogecoin might go up to $1. The one and only says short sellers borrow share at a price, then they sell the market. They don't own the shares. Then they hope the shares to go down so they can buy it back and keep some of the profits. Okay. So that's what shorting means. Okay. Yeah. And I looked into that a little bit. And like I said, I'm not in the stock market as a day trader like that. I mean, I've got some stocks, right? Amazon, Tesla, all that stuff. But I'm not like, when it comes to this terminology, I'm brand new to it. But it's okay. This is how we learn, right? This is how we learn. We educate each other. We look at the information. We learn, and then we see what's going on. Immense TV says short squeeze occurs when there's a lack of supply and an excess of demand for the stock. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. The one and only says if the prices goes up at a certain point, they're forced to close their position, buying shares at market price. Okay, the one and only. Let me ask you this. So I was watching The Modern Investor, and he said a couple of hedge fund companies are literally like going out of business. You know what I mean? So if anybody knows anything about this, I'll shoot you guys the link. Because like I said, I mean, I'm open to learning. That's why I'm doing this stream. We need to do something else besides talk thoughts all the time. Shout out to Brother Oheen. Let's keep going.
Industry and to retail. Oh, and if you're worried about going out, there's always the stay-at-home enablers. Here's some logical ones: Amazon, Netflix, Take-Two, Domino's. There's other ones just like it. Sure, you have to be worried about the slowness of the vaccine rollout and the undisciplined way people wear masks, the lack of testing infrastructure, but I don't think we're headed for another lockdown. Frankly, the state simply can't afford it. And that's why the governor of California just lifted a stay-at-home order, even though the outbreak's still pretty bad out there. We know how to do this, though. You can leave most of the economy open as long as you keep the elderly in the atmosphere.
No. The governor of California lifted the ban because people were tired of him and they had gotten a list together or something for him to get him out of office or to be reelected or something like that, from what I heard. So basically, he was about to lose his governorship or being the governor. And instead of losing his job, he decided to finally give in to the people. People are tired, man. People are tired of being at home all day. People are tired of not being able to work. There are people who want to work. People are tired and people are fighting back. And it's a lovely thing to see, as it should be. When your government is oppressing you, you should be able to fight back. That's a fact.
Risk at home. So if you're selling stock here because you believe the economy is cracking, I think you're making a mistake. The Federal Reserve is keeping interest rates low. We hear from Chairman Powell on Wednesday, and I have no doubt he'll stick to his guns when it comes to easy money. Meanwhile, most consumers have lots of spending money that they'll be able and eager to use once we're vaccinated and the world goes back to normal, please. But how about the second worry? That the stock market will be brought down by the wild actions in stocks like GameStop. That's that retailer place game you go in and you buy video.
Hey, yo, peace to Dollar Will. Hey, yo, Dollar Will, if you want to hop on, I'll shoot you the link. because this stock market thing is out of my realm. You know me, I'm a crypto guy, but there's so much news. My phone is blowing up, and all my favorite crypto guys are talking about this. I was like, yo, I got to look into it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'll open the panel up because once again, the stock market is not my thing. But like I said, I'm here learning. This is how I do my research. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Video games, you buy the hardware. This GameStop is really something we must talk about because it's been bid up higher and higher by enthusiastic traders. Now, there's a forum I've mentioned before, Wall Street Bets. It's on Reddit. Now, a lot of younger people read Reddit. I read Reddit because younger people read it. That's why. Now, they've got a community of very rabid investors who will choose individual stocks and then run them up as a group with commentary about how much they love them. Now, they don't target just any stocks. They go after the ones that are heavily shorted in order to come up with a short squeeze. They'll come up with a thesis all on display and then run them until the shorts have to cover their positions, spurring still one more leg higher. Now, I know what it's like to get caught on the wrong side of a short squeeze. The only thing a short seller can really do when targeted is to throw in the towel. No point in trying to fight it. You just have to cover your short, meaning buy back the stock to close that position before you run out of money. You can see this battle, how it played out in GameStop today. Look at this, okay? And that was just today. See that spike? Yes. Now, the shorts believe the company's worthless, but the longs think it's going to the moon. Long term, I think the bear case is right. GameStop is a brick and mortar video game retailer at a time when people.
So I'm just wondering. So with everybody buying GameStop, is that gonna keep the company afloat? Because they did file for bankruptcy. Because here's the thing: if everybody, because I heard people were buying it for $8, $1, and then it went like up to like $800 or $400, right? And now Robinhood has delisted it. Surprise, surprise. So I'm just wondering: are people gonna hodl GameStop stock, or is everybody selling once it just goes up and taking profits?
Will increasingly download their games off the internet. But I don't believe that short term. Short term, they have the new Xbox, they have new PlayStation, they just came out with those things, they're flying off the shelves, they've got a new big investor who's very smart. It's easy for the longs to come in and gun GameStop higher and make good money. If it hasn't been made already, though, when the stock spiked to 159 today before closing at 76. The Wall Street Bets crowd can easily find stocks with big short positions. You can look them up. It's not a problem. GameStop was ludicrously shorted. More than 148% of the stock had been sold short, which is nuts. For years, betting against this thing has been like shooting fish in a barrel. They forgot what can happen when the longs gang up on you. And gang up is a technical term. I'm not saying they're working in concert. I'm not saying they're doing anything illegal. I'm saying that they are in force. We saw the same thing today in B&G Foods. We've had them one. Bed Bath, we've had them one too. They've got short positions of 36% and 63% respectively. They're going after Rocket Mortgage with a 31% short. It's crazy out there. Bed Bath Beyond stock, which opened up for 34, then leaped to 47, squeezed up by the cheerleading smaller investors. And then it plummeted to $30.68 to finish up just 47 cents. The squeeze didn't stick. My advice to the shorts, I'm not going to give any advice to the Wall Street Reddit crowd. They're making a lot of money. But my advice to the shorts, stop crowding to the same trades, leaving yourself open to this kind of action. You'll never know who Wall Street Bets will target next. Now, not all of these targeted buying campaigns are about busting the shorts. Some of the stocks they aim for are genuinely loved and they think are very undervalued. Here I'm thinking BlackBerry, it's got a good software business, Palantir, both of which had gargantuan runs today. They're so loved, and the Wall Street Bets crowd doesn't seem to want to stop buying at these levels. They always use these targets like the analysts who are too enthusiastic. But as entertaining as these moves are, this stuff is ultimately a sideshow. At the end of the day, I don't think a Reddit forum could bring the house down. They're picking undervalued stocks, in a big short position, and running with them. And that can cause crazy moves in a handful of stocks, but it's not big enough.
What's going on, Dollar Will? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's happening? You hear me okay? Can you hear me fine?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Yo. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me? I hear you fine.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
I'm not sure what's going on right now. In the chat, can you guys hear me? One second.
Okay, good. Yeah. I hear you, and everybody says they can hear me.
Let's continue.
Have to move the entire market? Come on. What really matters now is that we have a stock pickers market for the first time in 20 odd years. This is a market that rewards individual companies for being well run. And that means stocks are less sensitive to the broader economy than they used to be. Now, we know many of the biggest winners thrive in a shutdown because they enable the stay-at-home economy. Remember that? Stay-at-home economy, we've got just indices galore to show this stuff. I think most of tech has gotten overheated.
This always happens when I try to play something. Hold on 1 second.
Solo, can you hear me now?
Okay. Yo, Dollar Will, you there?
Yes, brother. Can you hear me? I hear you. I hear you just fine. I hear the video fine.
Let's see if this works.
People in the.
I'm just gonna refresh this.
Yeah, I can leave and come
my
back.
screen share. Maybe that'll boost it up a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Every time I try to play a video when I go live, it gets wonky. But when I'm not live, everything is fine. I don't know. I got to upgrade my McDonald's Wi-Fi, I guess. The Village Arsonist says, Solo, Coinbase is effing up for me, dude. What's another good wallet? Bro, I don't even keep my money on Coinbase unless I'm buying. Get a Ledger, get a Trezor wallet, bro. I just got this new Trezor wallet here. It's dope. It's all right. I got it because, I like using Exodus. I got 2 Ledgers. I'm going to get another one. I'm going to get the Nano S. Yeah, people wondering, why do you need so many wallets? I don't know. I like having wallets. I did the thing where I told myself I'm going to get 5 wallets and all 5 wallets are going to be filled up. It's just one of those goals I have, I guess, just to manifest it. You know what I mean? I'm going to have 5 wallets and all 5 wallets are going to be filled up to the brim with all types of coins. Plus, I also had to get a new wallet. I got 2 new wallets for the beginner's course that I'm doing, and I'm still working on that. That's going to be fire. You know what I'm saying? Dollar Will.
Peace, brother. Let's hope it's working now. Yeah. Can you hear me? I hear you. I hear you fine. Can you hear me? I don't hear anything now. I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. You're not hearing me. And I see my emoji.
Dollar Will, can you hear me?
Yes. Everybody type in the chat.
Hold on 1 second. Let me
type
do something.
I hear
here.
Dollar Will.
Maybe it's my audio.
Chat.
Let me
type in the chat that I hear Dollar Will.
No. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do, Dollar Will. I'm gonna hop out and hop back in. I don't know if it's me, but give me 1 second. 1 second.
Let's see. If nobody's typed I hear Dollar Will, that means that nobody hears me either. Man, what the heck is happening there? Oh, Dollar Will can't hear you, Solo. No, he cannot hear me. Solo cannot hear me. So we can hear Will answer. Okay, so everybody's hearing both of us. Gotcha. And so it's something with his headphone situation. Or not the routing of the computer. Yeah, these daggone computers, man, they get hung up internally in that audio video app, inside the preferences. Yeah, you gotta exercise that thing. So we're gonna talk about short squeezes. They usually run about 5.2, 5.3.
Yo, Dollar Will,
can
you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. I don't know what's going on, man. It's like every time I try to play a video, it's going goofy. Hey, Dollar Will, what's good, bro?
Oh, man, we were just talking about short squeezes. I say they about 5.2, 5.3. How tall you say a short squeeze is?
Like I was saying, Dollar Will, I'm not, like I said, I don't really talk about, stocks. That's not my forte. I talk about cryptos, but
right.
There's a lot of, because, I got a Telegram crypto group, and there's been a lot of news about this GameStop, and I'm just like, yo, what's really going on? So I've been doing some research, and and I decided, yo, let me just do this video and show brothers how I do some of my walkthroughs with this. But yeah, Dollar Will, what do you make of this, man? What's your take? Because I know you don't know more about this than I do.
Well, let me say this: if there's any new information from today, y'all, I have no idea because I'm just waking up. But I heard about it yesterday. People was blowing up my, anything blowing up. Two or three people asked me about it, which was kind of odd. They asked all in a short period of time. I spent a lot of time over in the Forex and futures and that kind of thing. And so I'm like, GameStop, what's going on? And so then I was watching another YouTuber who I know follows, more stocks. He's a technical trader. And this person said a short squeeze. So I did a little research on the, it's called short interest ratio. It's the amount of, it's a way of gauging if the amount of people shorting a stock is higher than normal. And there's a belief that some people on Reddit went after some retailers like Build a Bear and the one that's Naked whatever or something that does apparel, sexy apparel, that kind of thing. So there were some retailers that were targeted. And what a short sell is, let's say everybody knows about buying low and selling high,
right?
Well, you can make money the other way. You can buy high and sell low when you're shorting something. That's what you're doing when you're shorting something. You're buying something at a high price, and you're selling it at a high price. You're gonna buy it back at a low price, and the depreciation is what you put in your pocket. So when you take out a short position, you don't own anything. So the first thing that happens when you say I want to initiate a short position, your broker goes into the market and buys the shares on your behalf or sells them to somebody else from your account. So you're facilitating the trade of somebody buying it, but you now owe the broker those shares. Let's say 100 shares. You owe the broker 100 shares at whatever the price in the future is, you return them back. That's a very important point. You don't owe the broker the value per se. You owe them the shares.
Mm-hmm.
But the value of the stock, your money and your account is like the collateral for the value of the shares. Now, the theory is the price is going to go down.
Right.
Now, if the person is disciplined, they'll put a stop loss in there to protect themselves that, if it rises beyond a certain point, it'll automatically sell the shares and they'll get out with a small loss. The same thing that happens if you're banking that the price goes up, you put a stop loss a little below where you bought it. So, but if you're wrong and it goes, if it drops, you just limited your losses. And you're out. Well, either people didn't use stop losses or the price blew right through it. Because if you use, it depends on how you, I don't want to get into the order type. It depends on how you do it. If it's like a limit order type of a stop loss, that you don't get guaranteed of execution. So the price can move so fast, it can jump right through that. So what happens is when this price starts rising, two things happen. If you don't have the money to cover it, the broker will sell on your behalf because now they're on the hook. Because if you owe more money than you have, there's no integrity in the market at that point. You can't have, who's going to pay? The broker ain't going to pay. So the broker going to sell for you, going to liquidate for you, or if you own shares and other stocks in your account, the broker will sell those. I mean, you can own Apple and some other stuff. You're like, what does that got to do with this? Well, everything in your account is collateral. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Let me ask you this.
So I'm sorry. Let me lock out with this one.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you rock.
So I'm almost done though. So when it creates a panic for the people who were shorting the stock. to hurry up and sell because they don't want their free money in their account or the money invested in other stock to be affected. So what happens is people start going in and they're not sitting there being careful about getting a right price. They just start hitting the daggone buy button, because the way you close a short is you have to buy it. So because remember, you began the transaction with a sell. So you have to buy in order to negate the short. So the people who were shorting have to get out of that burning building. So they go into the market and try to buy to break that short position. And they're just buying at any price, at any price. That's why you see the price going straight up like a rocket, because they want to get out now. And so that's the short squeeze. The people shorting get squeezed.
Okay, Dollar. Well, you answered my question. And so here's the thing, Dollar Will. When you look at this, right, and these Redditors got together and they're like, hold up, this is what's going on. Let's do this, right? And there's so much, obviously, they put a bunch of money and power in the people. These institutions, they clearly did not see this coming.
Well, let me just say this. This is one of those kinds of things. I don't think this is like a scam or manipulation. This is what happens when too many people inadvertently load up on one side of the trade. So too many people all at one time had the idea, let's short this. And they didn't know that by the act of them going out by initiating a short, which that would cause the broker to buy shares on their behalf, but it was a whole lot of people with the same daggone quote bright idea that they caused the daggone thing to melt up.
Dollar, let me ask you this. So now I heard this morning from the Modern Investor, right? He's a YouTuber, a great content creator. He said that there are hedge fund companies that are literally out of business now because of this.
Let me add this one little piece, and that'll answer what you just asked me. Here's why they say never short. And I'm going to tell you, I don't do it. Okay. Because when you go long a stock, the worst that can happen is it can fall to zero. Now that's pretty bad, but at least zero is a floor. When the price is rising, infinity is the ceiling. Infinity. You have unlimited losses. When you buy a stock, you can only lose the price you paid for the stock. You can never lose more. You can only lose 100%. Well, on a short, 100% don't mean nothing. And so now that go back to your question about companies, brokerages and hedge funds going out of business. Yeah. Somebody got to pay. The books got to get balanced. You owe, bro. You owe. Sell the house. The girl gonna leave you. The dog.
The side chick.
Yeah, the side chick. Yes. You no longer a high value man.
Facts. Now, Dollar Will, let me ask you this, because like I said, I'm not a stock guy. I mean, I own some stock, but this terminology of shorting and squeezing and all of that, I'm brand new to it, right? How are the Redditors? How are they making their money? I mean, are they selling it? The reason I'm asking is because, okay, now GameStop's stock is going up, right? But if they're selling it, isn't that going to crash GameStop stock regardless? Or are they doing this hedging it for the long game? Or am I?
Tell me something. While we talking, can you put up a chart of it right now? Of
GameStop?
Yeah, just because somebody named Red Philosophy says it's down 123%. I wrote in an email to some people that asked me about it yesterday. I said the problem with this. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question about how they're making money. If they're making money, the thing moves so fast, and this is like watching that whole dynamic between fear and greed in real time. So when it's going up and you go, oh, the shorts are getting squeezed, them suckers are burning. Let me jump in and buy it and make me some quick money too. Let me jump in and go long since this thing is going to the moon. So that's great. Now that person jumping in going long, if they move their stop loss, they might make some money, especially if they end up moving the stop loss above where they got in while this thing is melting up to the moon. They can actually get away with making some money. But as I said in the emails that I sent out yesterday to people, I said this thing, the problem is at some point it is going to hit the wall. It is a garbage stock. It is going to so it is going to turn around and reverse. And so the people who made money going while it was rising, if they don't sell, they're going to be crying. So everybody can lose.
Okay. Now in the long term, will this because GameStop stock was about $1, right? Hold on, let me go back to the 1 month marker here. I mean, it was okay, so it was $18 in December, and then on the 15th, it was about 35, and then it just skyrocketed up. I mean, in the long term, will this stabilize GameStop stock or no? What are you thinking?
I say it's too early to tell. I think just what's going to happen is in the end of early April. See, we're still in we haven't had the earnings yet. See, Christmas, everybody knows, is the big money maker for retail. They can lose money most of the year, but typically they make so much money during Christmas that allows stores to stay open all the rest of the year. But we had the cooties going around right now. Mm-hmm. So this time is different. So I think the people who were shorting it, I think they had the right idea. I think they were too early. I think what's going to happen, I'm pretty certain this is going to happen. When we get close to the earnings season, the people are going to short it then, because then you're going to have data to come out, because the people that are fundamentally driven by data and how they invest, when those earnings come out, and if they look horrible, shorters are going to pile on it again. And then you'll have the news data or the earnings data coming out validating what the short sellers are, what their position is. And I think that this thing could rise until we get some news otherwise.
Well, I'm a follower of Elon Musk on Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. And anytime Elon says something, the stock just goes up. And when he said GameStop, and then it went up by 220% or something like that, I was like, yo, is he in on this too? Or because we all know Elon Musk, Reddit loves him, right? Like, right. Is he in on this as well? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it could be.
Because sometimes he do troll.
Could be. I think those people know their own power, man. I think they like seeing what kind of effect they get, But this, when you start, you have to know who you are in the game. If you're a long-term investor and you don't know technical analysis, you don't belong in this. You don't belong in this stock. If you're a trader, and say a day trader, let me be specific. If you have good day trading skill, they running over here. See, that's another thing. The day traders will run to the fire. See, the technical day trader, we don't run from volatility. We look for it. We're like ambulance chasers and storm chasers, So because that's the action we want, So, right. But the rest of the folk don't need to be in it, man. They don't need to be in it.
Okay. So
you got a lot of day traders. They're going to be in here flipping this thing. They're going to be buying and selling within several minutes, and just making it go even more. So it's a gangbang.
The real DG says retail investors are selling to drive the price down and scare people, scare the nobs. We
have a concept in technical analysis called overboard. And so obviously when you see something spike like this, it's overbought. That means that the prices are risen too fast for a short period of time. And so when prices can't stay at overbought levels for long, and so experienced traders know that, so they'll sell it knowing that the price is going to drop. So selling in it is not a show of lack of confidence in the stock. They just know that for technical reasons, that price has to come down, and quite likely significantly when you see that it rose so quickly. So a lot of smart technical traders will just sell on general principle, and expecting it to lose maybe at this point. If this thing was to lose 80% of its value or whatever, that would be about right. At this level, that would be about right.
Shout out to the Red Things, the Blues. He says sold GameStop yesterday, had to get out. He said he made $300. Okay.
See, that's a smart guy. Now the question, the thing is to ask him, how did he control his greed? Cause see, that's what nobody did what he did, man. It's like, like I said, they say all you can eat buffet. That don't mean you should go try.
Yeah.
So he's the only one. He the only one.
You know what I'm saying?
I think everybody had you had a whole lot of paper winners. Okay, they were. They could have been a contender. They were up, and then that thing started falling today. Yeah, so you got people crying on both sides. People that were short and people that were long.
Yeah, shout out to the A Twins in the building. Y'all check them out. Phenomenal YouTubers. They said they just bought some crypto as well. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Dogecoin here in a second because I woke up and I'm like, Dogecoin, y'all must be tripping. Shout out to Platinum Opus. He says some dude on Reddit put in 9 million into GameStop and lost 4.5.
Oh God,
9 million. I mean, here's the thing though, Dollar Will. If he got 9 million, I'm pretty sure.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
I'm pretty sure he's doing all right.
Well, no, you hope. You thinking what I'm thinking. That 9 million better represent about 2% of his account, of his real money.
Yeah.
I hate to think that was like half his money.
Or maybe he cashed out his 401k and his other stocks real quick.
Yeah. Hey, look, you got people doing that with those shit coins. So, I mean, this story, it happens, man. That FOMO is real. It's real.
Well, Dollar, I'm glad you brought up FOMO. And for people who don't know what that means, the fear of missing out, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm like, because right now Dogecoin is pumping, right? And I'm like, man, maybe I should get into Doge. You know what I mean? It's only it's still pretty low, but then I'm like, I don't know, Dollar. What you thinking? Hold up, let me bring up Dogecoin real quick.
No, I have to. I'm a student of Lionel. I teach Lionel technical analysis. He teach me about crypto. That's how that goes. So I'm a newbie on the crypto thing. I can look at the chart and have an opinion about that, but in terms of use case and long-term viability of the thing, I don't know.
I mean, Dogecoin is known as the meme coin in crypto. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, if you look, Dogecoin really, I mean, back in 2017, it had a spike because it gained a lot of popularity on Twitter and social media apps like TikTok. They love using, it's about that dog. I forgot the name of the dog.
I mean, just eyeballing that real quick. I mean, if you could zoom in a little bit on the more recent price, I can tell you right off the nod. It looks like it might, but I want to see a little bit more of it. It looks like it might have one more push to go.
So right now, it's at about.
And what time frame is that I'm looking at?
Time frame. So this is right now. This is Live Coin Watch.
Is this an hourly chart or daily?
Oh, this. Okay, so this chart is let me show you the last 7 days here.
No. I want to first know what that is.
Okay, so this was the chart that I just showed. This is the all-time chart.
Gotcha. Okay, good.
Right.
That's what we do in technical analysis. We got to we do take into account all the data from the entire history of the stock being traded, and then we drill down to the now. But so you showed me. So this is all of the data, pretty much, right?
Right.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So this would be now zoom in on that big spike a little. Okay, you see that spike right there to
Yeah.
the left, not the current spike, the prior spike that used to be
In
the all-time high.
2017 or
There you go.
2018?
There
Yeah.
you go. Now just kind of keep in mind what that value is. So what we're looking for is to see if the current price drops below that or not. That's what we want to see, if that functions as price support. That's what we need to see. Does the market respect that level
Right. Correct.
there? That's the key level. So you can zoom in a little bit
Hold on.
on the current area. I mean, look at the value of that old spike, and then you can tell, you know, keep us honest on where are we relative to that, because that's the question.
So that's the all-time high spike for Dogecoin, right? That was January 6th of 2018. So about a little over 3 years ago.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so go to like can you go to like a monthly, like see the last month or something?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I just want to look at the.
So here you see early in the new year on the 3rd, it did a little bit of a spike too, right?
Okay. Yeah, let me go in even more. I'm trying to see more resolution on where we are right now. Maybe so to do the 7-day thing, like you said.
Okay, yeah. 1 second. Yeah. So this is the 7-day. And this right here, hold on, it's the last 24 hours.
Okay. Now, what has to happen here is this price is more than likely overbought again, and it's got to retest that low. Let's see the low from all right, reading from right to left, so we're going backwards. So let's call this a swing high where we are right now. You go backwards to the low where we started from. I'll see if can you touch it or something on screen. So okay, no, I'm not. I'm going to come to the current price.
Okay, right here.
No, where we are right now today.
Yeah, that's right now at this moment.
There you go, right there. Yeah. Now go to the low that started that swing up right there. Come back a little bit. Come back. To move back to the low around. It'll be like you go right there. That's the key level that has to hold.
Right.
So for me, I would wait until the price, swings back down a little bit and see if that holds.
Right. Okay.
Because we're not out of no, it's a good news, bad news. I mean, we could be in a larger correction, which would send it lower than that. Or we could be in a shorter correction and that will hold. The point, the fact that you really don't know at this moment.
Yeah, and honestly, Dogecoin, I mean, I don't see it long term. I mean, I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, because it's one of those that they love on TikTok. Elon Musk talked about it, but it's still a very low price. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You got to keep in mind that this is where I'm a technical purist for everybody listening. That means I go entirely by the charts. I don't really place much credence in the stories and any data that cannot be found on the chart. Our belief as technical purists is that no matter what you think or what information you're reading, everything at the end of the day results in you coming to your broker account and pressing the buy or the sell button. And everything is, you vote right there with buying and selling, and then there's a quasi science about how prices move after that. So it's a lot of people buying. I would say the mistake that a lot of fundamental investors make is they think that everyone thinks like them. So you don't know why people are buying. They're buying for on the technical side. We say we don't care why they're buying. We just know that they're buying or that they're selling. And we assume that somebody knows something we don't know. That's our assumption from the beginning. So we just know that they're buying and there's a pattern of buying, or that they're selling and there's a pattern of selling. And then, like I said, I'm an Elliott wave theory trader. And so there's some rules about what price normally does. And it's uncanny about in the way that how accurate it is. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. So that's why I said, we'll see on this leg down.
Yeah,
If
so
it makes a new low or not, but people are buying this for whatever reason. Some of it is just traders like somebody like me. I will know it's garbage, but the fact that enough people are buying it, if it's got a large enough market cap, I don't care that it has no use case. I'm there because you're there, and
right.
if you like it, I like it. but I'm betting that I can get out before you.
That's the thing. That's the key, right? And so to you, Dollar Will, a Dogecoin, it doesn't matter to you that people buy it because of the Shiba. That's the dog on the coin, basically. You don't care about none of that. You just
I don't care about none of that, man. Okay. I care that you care. I care that you care enough to buy it. That's it.
I love it.
That's all I care about.
I love it. Now, Dollar Will, how did you get into the technical aspects of trading? Because I know you do the stock market. How did you get into it? Did you one day watch the news?
Let me say that if you don't want this conversation to stray, you might want to push that question later, because that's not a short one. I'll answer it, but it might take you way off course. So if you want to push that to the end, I'll do it.
Okay. This dude says, when are you going to have Jessica X on the show? Really, bro? We talking about financial information, and you asking me about Jessica X? I had Jessica X on the show like 3 weeks ago, bro. Like, anyway, let me read the super chat. See, Dollar Will, this is why we can't, you know what I'm saying? That's why we can't have nice things, man. Facts. In the black community. Come on, man. Red Sings the Blue says, Dollar Will, I bought GME 2 weeks ago when it was cheap. At that time, I thought nothing of it. Then at the time, I saw the $200 to $300 rise at 1 p.m. I sold it. The settlement is tomorrow. I saw the rise. I sold it.
See, it's genius. He controlled his greed. Now, well, this is what he said. What he said, he saw that the settlement. Now, options, there's a whole nother factor in this. Like, this is like really, really deep level game. All right. Where those of us that know the quote smart money take the dumb money. All right. A lot of rich folks go into the options market and they'll, buy, they try to hide what they really want to do in the options market. They'll buy calls or puts in the options market. You could look at put call ratios. It's basically the ratio of the bets that it'll rise versus the bets that it'll fall. And you can see that in the options market. Now, what happens is sometimes they'll exercise those options, and those options will like give you the right to buy those shares. It gives you the right to buy those shares, and put it that way. So if you bought a call option 2 weeks ago, that the value of that call option went through the roof. So if you own that call, you can trade that right and pocket the money in the options market and never convert it to a stock. But for the truly bullish folks, they will exercise that option to buy GameStop at the price that they bought it for as an option 2 weeks ago. So those people could be exercising their option to buy the stock, which could also send the thing higher. Oh, did I lose y'all on that? Hello?
No, Dollar Will, you ain't lose me. I'm just.
It's just a little bit more gasoline for the fire. That people in the options market so like I said, 2 weeks ago, this thing was, do they even have options for this? Not every stock has options, but if the stock has an option and you're buying it at a price where it was 2 weeks ago, then and the price has doubled since then. Now that option, that call option, is valuable. People want to own that because that gives the owner of that option to buy to buy the shares at the price 2 weeks ago. So it's like being in a time machine.
So yeah, GameStop does have options, Dollar Will.
Okay, so now he talked about the options is every Friday. I'm sorry. When he said settlement, he was talking about something else, but he triggered my mind about options expiration. Most of the time, the options expire. They're weekly options that expire every Friday. It's not a coincidence that all this is going on Wednesday and Thursday. So tomorrow, when those options expire for tomorrow, we're going to really see something. Tomorrow going to be something too.
Okay.
Because options are going to expire.
And typically that's the end of the day, right? The end of the trading day?
Yeah, it's the end of the day. We're going to see where it closes. So if anybody was trying to buy this thing, I wouldn't touch it until at least Monday. I would want to see how bad the damage is as the options expire.
Okay. Now, Dollar Will, obviously, I know you're going to be paying very close attention to this. Let me ask the first question, because sometimes I can get ahead of myself. Is this something, Dollar Will, that Monday, depending on how it goes, that you might be interested in to get into the GameStop stuff?
I'm too old for this, man. I'm pretty much I like trading ETFs. Like I said, I'm a technical trader, and this is making the point I made earlier, that not everybody sees it the same way. And a lot of fundamental traders think that everybody is thinking like they're thinking. It's like a poker game. Everybody got a different way that they play in their hand. And so once you understand all the players in the game and what their style is, you can then get some strategies about how you want to play against them. But no, I don't like buying individual companies because I'm too lazy to do all that research. So what I do is money rotates from sector to sector, and then to industries within the sector, and then to stocks. So my first thought was, let me check out some retail ETFs. Okay, some retail ETFs, some double and triple leveraged ETFs. And so that ETF, it's sort of like, you could think of it as like a mutual fund. It's just the primary difference from our perspective between an ETF and a mutual fund is a mutual fund, you get the 4 p.m. price. You cannot trade a mutual fund intraday. When you buy, you're getting the 4 p.m. price. When you sell, you're selling at the 4 p.m. price. It's nothing you can do about that. Then later on, they invented this thing called exchange traded funds, which is a basket of stocks, just like a mutual fund, but you can trade that basket intraday just like it's a stock. So my thinking is, and now there was I wish I had the link from the email I sent out. There were other stocks like that went through this, like GameStop. GameStop is not the only one. Again, it's a number of retailers that this thing happened to, this short squeeze. So my first thought was, let me look at a retail ETF. So if you want to go to your browser, type in retail ETF, and we can look at one of those charts. My thing is, maybe I want to buy one of those, there you'll see bull and bear, or like you can Google retail bullish bull ETF or retail bear ETF. That'll give you, now this is important too, because shorting is so risky.
Mm-hmm.
When ETFs were created, they came up with bear versions. And these are for people, the same people like most of us, who want to take advantage of something when the market goes down, but we don't want to short the stock. We don't want to have those unlimited losses that you get when you short a stock traditionally. So there's a new way of shorting it, is you can buy ETF for that industry. Right. And you can buy a bear market ETF, which will go up when in theory, it should go up as that industry goes down. But the problem with ETFs is those ETFs are buying like futures and options and stuff. And so because of that options expiration thing, sometimes they can lag and they don't really track like they should. So those are instruments for day traders. And the mistake people make is holding it like it's a stock. You can't really do that. You have to have a trader mindset and catch a wave, get a pop and get out. But that was my first thought. Let me check out the
is I don't know if this is the right website. I don't, I mean, you can, you know what I'm saying? That
this is let me say this. James Cramer hates this company. This company, you say it's called Direction.
Okay.
He calls them weapons of mass destruction. Because these triple leverage bull and bear ETFs, if you were to if you on barcharts.com or something like that, you can click and see what they own. But they own a whole basket of whatever. If it's a retail, this is a retail ETF. If you look in it, you'll see that it owns a lot of these same companies that that's likely affected by this short squeeze. So when people buy, it's a growing number of people of traders who only buy ETFs. It's not just dollar will. And so when you buy and sell an ETF, you're buying and selling a couple dozen stocks in that one button push. So a lot of volatility you see in the market in general has to do with the fact that more people have moved to owning ETFs instead of individual stocks. And that just creates a domino effect across a whole industry. When you sell, say, you own a semiconductor ETF, or they have NASDAQ ETFs, home builder ETF. So you can just wreck the whole daggone space if a whole lot of people that own that ETF. And a lot of big money managers, big fund managers, they also own these ETFs also. So that's where this volatility is coming from in general. Because when I was young, they didn't have ETFs, but now in y'all days, everything's on crack. So yeah, you got ETFs, and they're trying to get a daggone cryptocurrency ETF, which will include Bitcoin and the shit coins, and that way you ain't got to study all these coins, and you could just get the movement of the whole space. So.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. And here's the thing, Dollar Will. And by the way, I posted Dollar Will's channel. I didn't even know you had a channel. I thought you just were in the Black Brain Trust. But do you teach these things on your channel as well, Dollar Will?
I hold it back because I'm a businessman. I'm a capitalist. I got a Patreon. I got a Patreon. So I do feel a sense of obligation to what my page is for. Is to tell people what I think is enough for them to be informed about how to have a conversation with their financial advisor, because I am not one. I'm just a YouTuber hiding behind an emoji. Don't listen to me. Talk to your financial advisor. So one, to give them some ideas so they can have a better dialogue with their financial advisor. And two, if they want to manage it on their own, give them some things they can research to help them do it. Because this country, when I was young, everybody had pensions, then the corporations start messing up the pensions, and then people were suing the companies for messing up the pensions, and then they came up with this 401k thing, and they pushed everybody into 401ks and made everybody their own money managers so that the corporations didn't have to have that liability for blowing your money, but they didn't give us training. So yeah, I try to talk about S&P 500 stuff, but I got pulled into the marijuana. So you'll hear me post videos about marijuana, some pharma stuff. Every now and again, you guys know Matty Ghost. Matty Ghost is in the tribe.
Yeah,
and
Matty Ghost. Yeah,
I featured him. I featured him and Lionel the last 2 days talking about their trading success. They've had some phenomenal success in the last year, incorporating concepts from technical analysis, and that's what we do on the Patreon. But because there are people in the group that are interested in trading things that I don't really touch, it drags me into that. So I have to know about what Bitcoin chart is doing and all that. And
So
so some of that
you're
spills
not,
over.
you're not into crypto, period. Is that
I'm
right?
not against it. It's just that there's so many things to trade and they all make money. So I'm not against crypto.
Right.
I just got my hands full with Forex and futures.
Right.
So the thing about Forex and futures, see, what you guys have to deal with in the stock world is what am I going to buy? So you have to go on this search to find something to buy. And that takes time. Well, in the Forex and futures world, we're trading the same small number of symbols, and we're just looking for chart setups. And there's always a chart setup every day. So we get lazy over there in the Forex and futures world because we don't want to do all that research and scanning and screening and finding. No, we trade the same 2 or 3 things every day.
Yeah.
And we get a couple $1,000 and we just go sit down.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Julian Brown says, I can tell the bro knows what he's talking about with the $5 super chat. Yeah, and Dollar Will, I'm glad you came to this show because, like I said, I was just gonna, play a couple YouTube videos and read articles because I don't know anything. Like I said, I'm not a stock guy, but I feel like as content creators, we sometimes, especially somebody like me, I mean, sometimes we got to shift the conversation to something that's important, even if we're not knowledgeable. At least show the process of research. You know what I mean? Because I mean, there's only so many videos you can do talking about women.
Bruh, I subscribed to Solo TV 84 and I clicked the bell. I woke up, I checked my announcements. I said, "Oh, Solo's on. Let me check him out," and that's what happened.
Well, I'm thankful you did that. And Dollar Will, let me ask you this. Here's the thing. One thing that I noticed, and myself included, a lot of these corporations, these institutions have made record profits. Record, right?
Yeah.
And you have people out here that are struggling. And I know you're a technical guy. I'm more of a fundamentalist, right? And
let me ask you a question. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but okay, please let's not make the I mean, I'm not gonna. When I said you said they made record profits. I said let me take that back because I don't know. Okay. I can say that I can say this: we are in a historic bull market. Okay, in the stock market, absolutely.
During a pandemic.
During a daggone pandemic. Now that's not even logical. See, this is the way, as a technical trader, I say that don't make no damn sense. Okay, that's no.
It doesn't make sense to me either.
This is running on ether. So the mistake that a lot of people make is they think that stock performance equals corporate performance. It does not. And when every time a company doesn't hit their mark on earnings, the CEO will come out and tell you that, that, the stock went down, but the company's doing fine. They will be sure to tell you that. But when the stock is rising and the company's performance is not rising with it, they don't say nothing. They shut up.
Okay. Yeah.
So you have to check that on a case by case basis. Are these companies really making money with all of America waiting for stimulus checks, or are we confusing stock price appreciation and assuming that there's corporate earnings backing it up? But coming up at the end of March or beginning of April, the earnings report will come out, and we're going to see the real truth. We're going to look up underneath the skirt, and we're going to see what it is. And that's where back to the shorting of GameStop, because it's just that the people shorting it, they're a little too early. I mean, they need to be pulling this in March, a little early.
Right.
But think last year, the stock market dumped around the 20th of February. So maybe they think in that date, because markets have a tendency to repeat themselves, at the same time. So, but they start shorting this thing around, in January. I mean, there was no reason for them. Now, just putting my chart hat on, it didn't look to me on the chart like the price had completed its typical wave pattern. They were too early. They were shorting too early, and they paid for it. Boy, did they pay!
Hey yo, let me just say shout out to the Village Arsonist with the $5 Cash App. I appreciate that. I had a question for you, Dollar Will Dane. I forgot.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, man. I got senioritis, man.
Dollar Will, let me ask you this for a beginner, right? Because I'm not ashamed to admit it. When it comes to stocks, I'm like I said, I'm very, very green. What type of besides YouTube, is there anything you would recommend for beginners on how to educate themselves in regards to the stock market and such?
Now, when you say that to me, again, I'm biased. So I'm going to steer you to technical analysis. Because in my opinion, exercising fundamental analysis without technical analysis is suicide.
Right.
Those profits are not yours. You're just borrowing that money. You're going to give it all back. Technical analysis teaches you how to keep it. It tells you, it shows you this is the risk zone. This is about where it will go. And their rules. This is the behavior of the price on the page when the trend is getting exhausted. And it takes a while. I could tell you, like on my page, I tell everybody the rules, but they have to trade actively. And so on my site, I have people paper trading. Okay. They have to paper trade for a while before you have to train your eye to see certain things. And then once you see those certain things, then you got to train your greed. You got to stop expecting to get the absolute low or the absolute high. It's that 80% right between the low and the high. That's where you eat. It just takes time to discipline yourself to do it. And you have to, and it's best to do it in a tribe with people that can keep you honest. Okay. So, because I make mistakes. Okay. And so, and I break my own rules. It's not even my rules. I break the rules because we all don't exercise and eat right every day. We all know. I mean, you're sitting there at the doctor telling you fat. You knew that. I mean, it's just human, how we are. And so it's a discipline. So I would say a free thing that everybody could do. Again, it's hard to do. You can go to babypips.com and they have something called Pips University or something like that, where they teach you technical analysis. If you have the discipline to do that, I say start it, and then find the tribe, either, me or somebody else. My Patreon is just $10 a month. There's no upsell. There's no multi-level layers. Everybody's $10. It's one cover charge.
Right.
And that's just it. Now I don't mean to, there are people out here selling educational programs for $500 all the way up to $2,000. Mm-hmm. Those programs I'm going to say they're worth it. Mm-hmm. I don't charge that because I'm not organized like them. I don't have a slick web page. I don't there's a level of organization that they spent money to create their course in a very organized way that you can go through it in 30 to 90 days. And it took them a lot of time to put that together. That's why they charge so much. Right. You're going to get it the rough guerrilla way with me. So I'm going to point you to some people's sites who got some stuff already slick. And I'm going to say, check out that part. This is going to mirror what I'm telling you and what I'm showing you. Now, I also post charts regularly. People in the group ask me to mark up charts for them. And then as part of the exercise, people have to mark up charts and send them to me. And I guess you could say grade them or point out their errors, and it's back and forth on that. Some people meet with me every week. I have had private meetings with Lionel and definitely the brother Iori 666. Y'all probably know him too. I've been meeting with them weekly for a year.
Yeah. And Lionel has been on my channel many a time because, we talk about crypto and stuff like that. Yeah.
And that's what it took. And Lionel, for everybody on my channel, please listen to the last 2 days show. One featured Lionel and the other featured Matty Ghost, talking about two different paths. Lionel, it started with as crypto. He wanted to introduce the technicals to it. He did, but along the way, he kind of he's doing the crypto still, but he's also in the Forex world. And he's now about to start working for what we call a proprietary trading company, where you trade with the house's money, and you can keep anywhere from 70 to 80% depending on the firm. So 70% for you, and so he'll be trading something like $100,000 amount buying power, keeping 80% of the gain for himself. And so we're talking about a life-altering amount of money, and that's with 1 year of study, with getting constant feedback from someone. Now, this is where a lot of those programs fail that you pay $2,000 for. They'll take you through the course. You'll run through the course in 30 to 90 days. You'll be done with the course. The problem is you have to live through these market cycles like this melt up with Gamestop. If nothing crazy like that happens during the 3 months that you're studying the course, then you don't get no experience, no guided, coached experiences how to handle that.
Right.
And there's an emotional, like that FOMO we were talking about. You can read the theory all you want, but there's a greed part. No, you don't know how you're gonna act when you get in that ring and get punched in the face. You can't prepare for that. So you just gonna have to take that butt whooping and get up and try it again, and have somebody say, "This is keep your guard up." Think it move. So giving you some instruction, and you either gonna change or you just gonna keep getting your butt whipped. The market does not care. It's brutal. And so when you're in a tribe with other people going through their own personal greed, their own personal demons, and you see people get better over time, at some point you realize, I just got to cut this stupid crap out. I got to stop being greedy. I got to stop being impulsive. I got to be okay sitting out on the sideline. It doesn't matter how many people are talking about it. I got my rules. And I gotta wait for my opportunity. The thing about it, when it's the right time to buy, it's quiet as a church mouse, man. That's like when nobody's talking about it.
Right.
But when it's time to sell, that's when all the novices, they all want to buy. That's how you know it's the wrong time.
Facts. Dollar Will, I learned in 2017 with crypto, right? I mean, and here's the thing, 4 years in, I mean, I'm still learning, and I'm trying to get more into the technical aspect. And that's one of the reasons why Lionel and I have been collaborating a lot more, Shout out to Carl McFarland. He says, excellent show. Dollar Will, thanks for the content. Yeah, make sure to subscribe to him, guys. I think this is, like Brother Heen was saying on his show yesterday, this is the important information. We're in a pandemic, and you Negroes are worried about hoes. You know what I mean? Like, these chicks are always going to be there, but the opportunity to get into the market and really, get life-altering wealth, I mean, those moments don't come every day. I mean, the GameStop thing, I mean, I didn't see this coming, Dollar Will. Do you think, like, in regards to this, now they're talking about, doing the same thing for AMC and other.
I didn't see none of this coming in January. Now, I'm banking on this happening, later when the earnings stuff come out, or maybe in February when we come around the anniversary of that decline, because the market just had this funny way of like repeating itself around the same time. It's like, it's for some reason, like strange crap happens around like May 20th. I mean, it's just weird. It's got a personality.
I just think that Dollar Will, and maybe I'm wrong, but the fact that you got Reddit sparking this, right?
Right.
I mean, that's what got these institutions shook. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because nobody, I mean, nobody could have fathomed this. Like, even a technicalist, they could have charted this out, and nobody would have expected that Reddit would have had their buying power. And you see that Reddit does have buying power. Look at what they did for GameStop.
Right. But tell me this. Now, are the Reddit people, are they the ones that put the shorts on? Or did they come on after and start buying it up?
Exactly.
Which side were they on?
They were buying it up. So
so they saw that a lot of shorts were people were shorting it. Exactly. So then they poured their money on to screw over the people shorting it.
Yes, exactly.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Now look at this. Look at the price chart on screen now. So the Reddit people, if they did not sell, then they're losing money too.
Facts. Facts.
That's why I said they're crying on both sides of the aisle. You know.
But I think the Reddit people, from what I've read on Reddit and other videos I watched before I went live, they're planning to hold for the long term. From what I'm the information I'm reading, and now you have these institutions talking about that there's some inside fraud or this and that. I don't know about that. I just think that a lot of people they lost money. These shorting companies, hedge fund companies, and now they're crying. But like you said, everybody's crying on both sides of the aisle unless you came in prepared for the long game. That's the question I was asking you earlier.
I don't believe that people do what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they can come in with good intentions to hold for a long game, but at what point will you give that up? You know, there is a certain point where the stock can fall. A certain point where you will quit. You will give it up.
Facts.
You know, and we'll see. We'll see about these long gamer. Look, we are headed for a how can I say this? A Great Depression era correction. In Elliott wave theory terms, see, I studied long data sets. There's a trend that started in the mid to late 1800s. I call it the emancipation trade. Because in the Elliott wave theory, there are 5 wave counts up. Wave 1 started around emancipation. What we're calling wave 2 is that what we call the Great Depression decline.
Mm-hmm.
But see, when people say the Great Depression decline, they don't tell you there was a tremendous run up from the end of the middle part, the later part of the 1800s to 1929. They don't tell you that you're looking at something like a 60-year boom. So it had to correct. And that's what that looked like. Now, from the beginning of that, the end of that correction, which was 1932 or something like that. From 1932 till now, we've been in wave 3. So wave 1 lasted about 60 years or something like that. Wave 3 been going since 1932. So how many years is that from? What are we talking about? There's about 90 years from then to now. From 1932 to now, something like 90 years. This is like the century trade. Wave 3 is the longest, usually the longest. The rule is that it can't be the shortest. In practice, it's usually the longest and most profitable wave of all of the Elliott wave counts. So we're in the most prosperous wave, and we're due for a correction. Wave 4 is the correction that people are talking about. If you Google what is this, super cycle? I think super cycle correction. I'll get it right. I think it's like super cycle correction or something like that. You'll see, you'll find the other crackpots like me that look at long data like that, and they'll tell you that we are overdue or on schedule for a huge correction that's going to take us likely eradicate everything since 2009. In my opinion.
Okay.
But when this thing starts happening, other people that know more than me are going to come out and they're going to be making these similar you're going to hear everybody saying it. But you heard it here on Solo TV, But so when you hear people talk about a massive correction coming, that's what they're talking about.
Is that the grand super cycle piece?
Yes, the grand super cycle. That's exactly it.
Okay.
Yes. So this is what people are looking at, and they're looking at the large data sets, and so we're in this dangerous area, and everybody knows it. That's a technical trader, and so they got a little exuberant, and retail is one of those main sectors that's going to bite it. I mean, we don't even have malls anymore.
Right.
Okay, and people, come on now, and you got people buying, you got retail stocks going to the moon, and we don't even have malls, and we living off stimulus money. This don't even make sense. And we do have records of, we know that corporations sometimes lie about their earnings. We know that. So that's why we technicians, our view is the saying is price is truth. The stock price is the greatest truth you ever gonna know. Because the rest of that stuff is subject to be manipulated. Even the government lie about the daggone data. When they start telling you, government collected data, they got this funny way of categorizing the data to make it tell the story they wanted to say. So we just don't have a chance to know the truth, as the commoner, but you can learn to read a price chart. They can't lie about that.
Right.
You learn to read how the price is slowing down as the price reaches these theoretical limits. And the thing about it is a lot of people know these theoretical limits. And maybe this thing works because of self-fulfilling prophecy. Maybe we're just all psychologically making it work because all the money managers and stuff, they know these theoretical Fibonacci levels and stuff. They know.
Right.
And so when the price gets to like that irrational, exuberant level, because companies report earnings every quarter, and your money managers are graded on their performance every quarter. So there's a push to I'm trying to plug up my power before my laptop goes dead. There are these money managers, when they get up big, when they've had a good profit at the end of the quarter, as soon as that quarter ends, they trying to sell.
Facts.
Because they don't want that money. They want to bank that. They want to put that in the record books that they won this for you. And so you get your little statement in the mail from your retirement account or whatever. And what they do, this concept they have called painting the tape. You don't know what you owned in those 3 months. What happens is in the last week running up to the end of the quarter, they'll go, even the ETFs and mutual funds, whatever, they'll go and buy they'll buy the things that won. The things that went up the most in the last 3 months, they'll buy that. By buying those shares late at the end of the quarter, they get to put the name of those stocks in your statement when you get it in the mail. So you open it up, you look at your statement, and you go, oh, Apple. Okay, yeah, I owned Apple. And you see the Apple went up. But then you look at your balance and your account, you go, well, how come my account didn't go up? Because you didn't own that stock for the whole 90 days. They bought that stock at the last minute when they were preparing the statement and fucked with your ass and told you and make you think that you owned it the whole time. No, they just put you in that because they didn't want it on the record. They couldn't put the garbage that you really owned.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a lot of hustling going on.
Shout out to Vincent Henderson. He says, should I buy hard assets like gold and silver, dollar will?
That's a question for a financial advisor. But let me say this as a chart reader: there is no safety but knowledge. There's nothing that you can buy that always goes up that's safe. And so you'll always find me on these YouTube streets arguing with gold bugs and people that say, buy gold, it's a store of value. And people say buy a house, houses always say nothing is safe but knowledge. Change is constant.
Right.
Fact. You have to adapt. You have to understand the environment and adapt to it. And if you doubt me on that gold thing, if there are any gold bugs here, if you doubt what I'm saying, you go to my channel and you'll see a video in there with it has a thumbnail of gold bar. You watch that, and I'm gonna walk you through several hundred years of gold price, and you'll never say again that gold never goes down. It's a store of value. Okay, from 1980, somewhere around 1983. Until almost like 2002, gold was sideways and down. Gold took a big drop. in the early 80s, and that's where why your rappers were wearing gold chains. Because coming out of the 70s, no, seriously, it was a mania. Gold was like ridiculous. It spiked, and then so the common culture, equated gold with wealth. We didn't always equate gold with wealth, because there've been many times there have been many periods in history where gold wasn't really doing anything. But in the 80s, man, in the early 80s, it spiked. And then everybody was like, I got to get gold. And we were going to a cash-in out, trying to buy jewelry and all kinds of stuff. And so that trickled down into the pop culture and the big dookie chains that the rappers was wearing. So it's not a coincidence that they were wearing those gold chains, because that's what was, this gold fever had like taken over the whole culture of America. So it's not just a rapper thing. And so, but since that time, gold hit the tank, it hit the toilet, and it didn't recover until the .com bubble. When that thing crashed in the 90s, late 90s, money rotated from that to gold. And then that's when you got the housing run. We had a housing bubble. We had an oil bubble, and we had a gold bubble. We had all three. But gold, prior to that run up in the early 2000s, I think around 2002, prior to that, if you bought gold at the peak in 1983, I don't think you got even. I don't think you broke even until like in the 2000s, somewhere like 2000. Wow. 2007 or something like that. I don't. It's in my video, but I walk you through all of that. So and people get their feelings hurt, and like, dude, it's right here. And people still want to argue. I'm like, dude, I graduated high school in 1982. So you telling me I should have bought gold and made no gain for 20 years? But we get into this barbershop stuff, and the same people that tell me gold, is safe, and I'm like, have you ever seen a price chart of it? No. So where are they getting this stuff? They're just getting it from rumors. So, but on my side of the street, we actually take it to the charts and we look at it.
Right, that's what's up. Well, Dollar Will, I do got to get going, because like I said, this was an impromptu show. I wasn't even going to go live, but I was like, yo, I really need to find out what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Dollar Will, I'm going to let you have the last words, and I appreciate you jumping on, man.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you for inviting me on, and shout out to everybody in the panel. In the chat, had a good sending good energy my way. I saw everybody, all the shout outs. And it was a pleasure being here. And I told you we'd run out of time for me to tell you how I got here. But yeah, it is a story.
I mean, Dollar, you know what? We got to do another show. Before we leave, man, you can, give me your email address and we'll set something up formally. You know what I'm saying? I mean, This was an impromptu, obviously. Yeah.
Let me see if I can. I'm trying to find I'm lost in the maze of my StreamYard. Okay, I will give you the email or private chat. Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, that's it. So yeah, till next time, I'm a regular on these streets, and y'all see me in the chat for the effery sessions. I'm usually looking at some chart at the same time as that going on. That's why you don't see me on the panels, because I'm trying to get that money. But the stuff is entertaining. The effery we talk about, it is entertaining.
It is. You got to give the people what they want, right?
Yeah, but you got to mix in something constructive that you're doing. At the time
that's what I
that
try
you're
to do.
doing it, because it has a value now. I mean, I don't like again. I'm a capitalist. All right, there's room for all kind of entertainment. Okay, you just don't want to be consumed by it completely. Right. You got to balance it out. So, I appreciate all of the effort we talk, because, I'm about that. I got to spend my money on something,
Well, guys, make sure to check out Dollar Will's YouTube channel. Like I said, I'll set something up with him in the future, and then we'll just, we'll have another stream. But I appreciate everybody for hopping on. You know, we have more people. We had at one point we had 90 people on that. That's for a stream like this. That's actually really good. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, take ownership, guys, of your, you know, future financial wealth, your financial health, your financial situation. The time is now, you know, and if you guys gonna keep sleeping, then y'all gonna get left. So, Dollar Will, I appreciate you, and we out.
All right, check the private chat, man.